Hi guys, is it already up? Why is it's going all slow to show me? Okay, I think it's already up. Let's see. Do you see it yet, Ricky?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi guys. So I'm here with top 40 recording artist Ricky Rebel. He's been seen on tour with people like Britney Spears, and he's pretty well known in the gay community, especially in LA. And I wanted to bring him on and kind of discuss what's been going on lately with the homosexual communities around the world. So we have some big problems happening, guys. And I wanted to first start off by introducing Ricky and say hi, Ricky.
Hi, everyone.
And I wanted to go ahead and start off with the video, and then me and Ricky are going to go ahead and get into some Q&As. And if you guys at home have any questions and want to ask, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, and we're going to go ahead and answer those questions as they pop up. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this first video. This video came out about an hour ago, and the reason why this video was not really planned to show, I just wanted to show it because it's very important. And the leader of BRUNEI came on and gave a speech. So I wanted to kind of show that real fast.
He still commands respect from his nation, but the Sultan of Brunei's global influence is taking a major hit.
Yeah, this is all crazy.
He still commands respect from his nation, but the Sultan of Brunei's global influence is taking a major hit. There's widespread condemnation for his new strict Islamic laws that see anyone caught having gay sex being stoned to death. Medieval punishment for what he sees are modern vices. Today, in a televised public address, he said, "The Sharia system is revered in Brunei, and it's made it a harmonious country, insisting that it is also globally friendly." That isn't how the international community see it. Being gay here carries a 10-year jail sentence. So, many who live in secret are now living in fear. Others like Shahran Shahrani fled to Canada, scared of being killed.
Back to my mom, my dad. No, I couldn't say goodbye. Then the people found out, and there was despair. So I just left.
Brunei owns some of the world's most famous hotels, like the Dorchester in London. Celebrities are now calling for a boycott. Hollywood actor George Clooney wrote, "We are putting money directly into the pockets of men who choose to stone and whip to death their own citizens for being gay or accused of adultery." Elton John tweeted, "We must send a message however we can that such treatment is unacceptable." But the US TV host Ellen DeGeneres said, "Raise your voices now, let the word rise up."
Brunei is violating international law when it receives sanctions. It is threatening its own communities, its LGBTI communities. I think it's international pressure, it's international solidarity is needed, and we hope it has some impact.
They want him to repeal the laws, but the Sultan's standing firm for now. Still carrying his defense.
Okay, so that's obviously really crazy that he isn't even trying to consider, especially with the whole world yelling at him. But the thing that I don't get is why this is all happening. So I want to ask you a couple questions, Ricky. I wanted to pick your brain a little bit and kind of let people see it from the perspective of gay boys and people like me and you who we're just like those boys over there suffering. So I want to ask you, why do you think that this country is so adamant about doing this, and what do you think makes them want to push this on the rest of the world?
Well, I think that there's a radical faction of Islam, that there's Islam, but then there's people who radicalize it and who push it to this crazy limit, and I call them radicals. And they're the ones who are pushing Sharia law. And
right, I can agree with that for sure. My thing that I'm getting at is I've been finding lately, this blew my mind. When I heard about this, it blew my mind, and I was just like, this is 2019. How are we still barbarically killing people for being homosexual? And so it made me really research and dig deep into a lot of things. And
yeah.
I'm finding that you are very right on that when it comes to radical Islam. And radical Islam, people talk about that word a lot, like as if it's a place or if it's a group of people that we can spot out. It's kind of scary that we can't. And my next question to you is, what do you think that we can do as Americans who are forced to literally do nothing? What do you think we can do to get the message across that it is not okay to be radical Islamic? Or is that a word?
Yeah, it is. We have to speak out. We have to do what we're doing now. What you and I are doing now. We have to speak out against radical Islamic terrorism and radical Islamists and people that fight for Sharia law.
Do you consider this to be, I consider it to be an act of terror for sure, but I think that when we say terrorist, it kind of, to me, I think it might cloud the situation because people they have such a different view of terrorism. They think about 9/11 and planes and things like that they forget that this is something that's been practiced in every Sharia law abiding country for many years, that they've always killed homosexuals. And so I think this is terror, but I don't really know if we should say that it's terroristic. I think it's clearly Sharia law.
Yeah, it's about Sharia law. Under Sharia law, it's you're punishable by death if you're gay. That they're just following what the people in Brunei are doing. The leader, what we just heard, is he's following Sharia law, and under those laws, there are Islamic laws. It's an Islamic state. Under those laws, gay men are murdered, or put into prison. Women are treated horribly, like dogs. They get acid attacked on their face. They get thrown acid on their face if they take off their hijab.
That's a huge epidemic right now in the UK with the acid. They're doing the acid on the face a lot in the UK.
That's horrible, and they do it to men too. And these are just sick people. But they think that they're the ones that we just saw on the television screen right there. They're following something called Sharia law, and it's a horrible cancer. And
when I hear the word Sharia law, it makes me like question and want to dig deep, and it makes me want to, because when I see and hear about boys and girls being killed the way that they are for literally doing things that me and you are every day, it makes me feel so like I have to get up and do something. It makes me feel compelled to do something. So it makes me really dig deep into it. And I want to find out what it is in Sharia law that makes Sharia law, for instance. Like, what is it that makes it so, that makes it where it has to be law? Like, is it tied to Islam specifically? Or is it something that only some Muslims practice or only a couple of Muslims don't? Or do you know how that works at all?
Honestly, I haven't researched it. I just know that there are many things in the Quran that are how do you say this? You know, not to go crazy with the whole thing, because I don't honestly, I'm not quote Islam. I don't think that you and I are quote Islamophobic. We're not Islamophobic. We're murderophobic. We're murderophobic. We just don't want to get killed by Sharia law, people who are trying to bring us to America. We're anti-terrorism. We're anti-radical Islam. That's all. It's not a situation where I'm not afraid of religion. I'm afraid of the people that are doing wicked things to gay people across the world. And what's great is that Trump is doing a lot to help the situation. He's working with Richard Grenell, who is going around and asking for the world to decriminalize homosexuality around the world, which proves that President Trump is for us, is for the gays, is trying to help us. And I really think it's sad that gay people in the LGBT community can't see that, and they do not see that he's trying to end exactly what's happening today, exactly what Ellen's fighting for, exactly what George Clooney's fighting for. Trump is fighting for all of those things, and they give him a horrible, wicked name. They call him a homophobic, racist, white supremacist.
Well, as you saw like 2 weeks ago, Pence even had the Prime Minister of Ireland and his boyfriend at his house for the weekend, and he's still called anti-gay. So I mean, I feel like there's like no way around that when it comes to the gay community. I don't understand it either. To be honest with you, I don't understand it. But I think that no matter what he does, they're going to call him anti-everything, you know? And it's so sad because we can't come together and ever work together on these situations, because BRUNEI is about the size of Riverside, not Riverside County, but Riverside itself. And I find it funny that, well, not funny, it's actually not funny at all. I find it really disheartening that we can't come together and do something for this country and these gay people, because we can't seem to come together ourselves because of the fact that no matter what Donald Trump does, we have to hate him, even if it means hurting other people to do so. And I think that that's where we go highly wrong. You know, I think it's horrible. But back to the Sharia law thing, I definitely find it also disheartening to know that the gay community in America, I'm not trying to come for them at all, but I'm going to just say it is like it is. They also a lot of times stick up for Islam and without knowing much about it. I've dug really deep into Islam recently in the past few weeks, really trying to find answers of how we can help these people out. And I've just run into more questions. And every time I ask these questions to be answered, like I've got a hold of CARE and I emailed them, I called them, and every time I try to get answers, nobody seems to be able to do so. Nobody. So all I know is that I do see Ellen and Ellen John going online and saying things like we need to raise awareness, but I find it kind of offensive that we even got to that point to where they even have to do that, because they have such big voices and they spend so much time hating Donald Trump that they could have been spending more time digging into why Sharia law thinks this way and how we as Americans can help other gays across the world, how we can help them out of this, and what we can do to better practice things here at home to make sure it never comes here. It never attaches itself here.
If you notice, George Clooney and Ellen never talk about the root of the problem. They never talk about anti-Sharia law, boycott Sharia law, fuck the hotels, boycott Sharia law. Okay?
I'm right there with you.
Okay, they want to boycott, you know, the hotels, the Beverly Hills Hotel, which they should, but we need to boycott Sharia law. We need to boycott radical Islam, period.
Amen.
Period. And unfortunately, the reality is, I mean, I have nothing against Muslims. I have nothing against Muslims who are, you know, just kind, considerate, great people. I have a problem with the radical ones who blow up people at Ariana Grande concerts, the radicals that run over people
in New York City,
in Paris, the radical ones that murder us at Pulse nightclub in cold blood, and the 9/11 and San Bernardino, and the list goes on. And you know, if white supremacists were running around doing 9/11s and shooting up people in Ariana Grande concerts, or at Pulse nightclub and bombing Ariana Grande concerts, like I would be just as be like, what the hell? You know?
Yeah, me too.
I would be like, bitch, you're attacking, you know, or if white supremacists were throwing gay people, or you know what I mean, throwing gay people off the buildings for fun, like they do in this cancer. Okay,
right.
It's a cancer. And
well, that's something I've realized too. I realized the connection with all of these places is Islam, and I hate to put it out there like that, because let me just put a disclaimer out there to anybody watching. We are not against peaceful Muslims. We are not against the Muslim religion. We are not against Islam. We are against people that hurt people, and that's what this whole video is about. But I wanted to bring up another country now that as of last night started rounding up gay people, and it's right near Armenia. And let me pull it up real fast. But this new country just came about yesterday. Now they're doing it too. And I was like, what does this country have to do with the other countries? And why are they now thinking gay is wrong? Well, when I looked up the religion of this country, 92% of this entire country is Islamic. And I hate to do that. And I don't want to sit here and say that, it's Islam. I don't want these correlations either, because I'm a person that's American who believes everybody should be able to believe whatever religion you want. I also believe that we should love everybody. So I'm not, it's confusing me and my morals, but it's still the fact. And the fact is, the only thing that Chechnya, this new country, BRUNEI, Indonesia, the Middle East, the only one thing they all have in common is—
You mentioned Chechnya? You mentioned Chechnya too.
Yeah, Chechnya is actually in Russia, but there's a reason why all of Russia is not against gays, and only Chechnya is. And the only difference between Chechnya and the rest of Russia, which Chechnya is in Russia, is the fact that Chechnya is Islamic. That's the only difference. And they're putting us in concentration camps the first time since the 1930s. And I know a lot of people in America try to compare the Asian camps we had here to concentration camps. compared to what they're doing in Chechnya, the Asian camps here were a walk in the park.
And you didn't tell me. I didn't know about the Chechnya thing until you told me about that.
Oh, it's
and
horrific.
See, these celebrities are afraid of being called Islamophobic. So they don't come out and talk about the root of the problem, what the problem really is. And we should all, as free Americans, you know, we live in the greatest country in the world.
The most freest gay country in the world.
We're the freest gay country in the world. You know, we should be allowed, in my opinion, to critique religion. We should be able to say, hey, you know what, we got a problem here, you know, which we do. I mean, we obviously there's a problem with radical Islam. It's not even a situation. You just show it on the map, and wherever, unfortunately, wherever the religion is thriving, like the predominant thing, you get terrorist attacks, you get, you know, Sharia law, you get gays being murdered, you get all these crazy things happening. So I feel like every good Muslim out there should also stand up and say, look, you know what, this is fucked up what they're doing.
I feel like they should be the loudest.
They should be the first ones in the line. You know, this is fucked, because I said this before, if gay people were running around murdering Christians and throwing them off of buildings and doing all kinds of nasty, crazy shit, and like cutting people's heads off and rounding up gays and putting them or rounding out people and putting them in concentration, I would be the first one to say, dude, gays are fucked up. I'd be the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the radical gays are doing, you know what I'm saying, is fucked up.
Yeah.
So,
and to be honest with you, my whole thing is this. I think that it's hi baby, hi. Sorry, my doggy had to come say hi. I think that what's really important is that we, as like you said, we're free Americans, and we have freedom of speech. We also have freedom of choice, and we should choose to start speaking about these things without fear of being called names. Because Islamophobia, these celebrities, this is what makes me so angry. George Clooney himself, he's a celebrity afraid of being called Islamophobic. But because you're so afraid of being called a word, you're taking the direction in the wrong way. And on top of that, you're not addressing the real problem. And every time you ignore it, more gays are dying. More people are dying every single day. I'm done ignoring it. And I feel like if you want to call me a name or Islamophobic, then if that's what it means to hate people who want to kill others, then so be it. But I will tell you right now, I don't hate all Muslims, and I'm not against the religion. I'm against anybody who hurts another human being for no reason. It's beyond crazy. And this is 2019. There's no reason why we should have cell phones and we can talk on video chat right now, but we still stone people. This is crazy.
They're stoning people. This is every gay person on the planet right now on West Hollywood. There should be a big boy, or, you know, rally, parade, whatever you want to call it. There should be a huge protest against this. Where are my question to all the feminists out there, where are the pussy hat wearers? Where are you guys? Why aren't you doing the Million Man March? Why aren't the gays doing the Million Man March for these other LGBT brothers and sisters who are literally who are going to be stoned to death now?
Well,
where are you?
I don't mean to put it in perspective, and I don't mean to make it really sad, but reality is good for us all to know and see. But it is now 5:19 p.m. here in on the West Coast. That means for the past like 16 hours, the boys have been killed over there. They're people who lost their lives this morning. And last night I was up late, and I was just sitting there thinking, like, putting myself in that position, saying, like, if I was in one of those cells right now, I'd be terrified. I'd be shaking. And those very people I was thinking about last night aren't even alive anymore right now. And that is grounding. And at the end of the day, there's boys like me and like you, Ricky, that are now dead, and they were killed in the most horrific way today. And I just, it's horrible thinking about that. And think about the ones who haven't been killed that are scared now, because 10 years in prison seems a lot less than death. So, I mean, they used to be in fear, but now they're like terrified for their lives, you know? And it just is really crazy to me to think about that reality. And like you said, where are the marchers? Where are the pussy out wearers? Where are the people who say that they love everybody? Where are those gay people who stand up for all gay rights? Where the fuck are they? And it's really disheartening to know that there's little boys who got killed this morning and nobody gives a fuck. And in West Hollywood, they're out there having their drinks at their bars, being catty, watching RuPaul, doing what they want to do, but nobody cares about these boys' lives that were lost today.
Right, right. They have no idea. They have, a lot of them don't have any clue that it's happening.
This is a D-Day for all gay people. Every gay person should be in mourning today, if anything. If you're a person who claims to love all human beings, and that's why you hate Donald Trump, then you should be the first one out there in the streets screaming about BRUNEI. You should be the first ones on the streets condemning Sharia law. You should be the first ones on the streets doing so, and I don't see anybody doing that, and that's really, it gets to me, you know?
Yeah, no one's really talking about it in the gay community because, like I said, they're afraid of people calling them names, calling them that horrible word, Islamophobic. Like, what the hell is that word? I don't think that's even a word. Is anybody Christian phobic?
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess
We don't call them Christianophobics. Are people
right.
Christianophobic? It's like, no, we just don't like people who murder people like that, radicals.
Right.
Who happen
Well,
to
as you know, the left has a way of taking words and they take actions that are bad and they put labels on them called acceptance. But then they also take things that are good and they put labels on them like Islamophobic and things like that to make it impossible for us to combat problems that are happening. And I think that that's a really shitty tactic, and I think it's very, very very detrimental to society because it literally kills people and it stops us from talking about it. But I think that me and you are going to be key here because we are gay boys and we do live in LA and California. We are the first ones on video right now saying that we are done being called that. Like, if you want to call me that, call me what you want, but I'm going to speak out from now on. For those boys who are killed today, I'm going to speak out for them. For those boys who are going to be killed tomorrow, I'm going to speak out for them. For that boy who fled and went to Canada and didn't get to say goodbye to his family, I'm going to speak out for him. And call me what you want, but if that's what Islamophobic is, then I'm proud to say I'm Islamophobic because this is not okay. And I do not think that we should be sitting silent during a time like this, you know?
Right. No, we should not. And it's going to take people like you and I to step up and show them how to be a leader. We have to be leaders, and we have to teach these people how to lead in their own communities and show them that it's okay to come out and speak out. It's okay to ask questions like you've been doing. You've been doing a lot of research, and that's really awesome. You're going out and you're making phone calls to care because you care. And I think that the misconception, right? I think the misconception of conservative thinkers or right-leaning thinkers or libertarians is that we don't have hearts, right? And it's so funny and so weird because the people I've met along the way on my journey of coming out of the closet, ever since I wore the Keep America Great Trump suit at the Grammys, my whole life really changed. And I started hanging out with more right-leaning people, and man, we just love each other. There's so much love there. They're very accepting of me in all kinds of ways. And they listen, and we talk about ideas. Like, it's so fun to get into a room with a bunch of conservatives, right-leaning people.
You know it, we'd be sitting here at our age talking about how we enjoy going into those rooms, because I can agree with you on that. I love going into rooms where it's a lot of people who think like I do, because it's such like enlightening. It's like a very enlightening feeling, and it's so beautiful to see so many people love each other. And the loving feeling I've got as well has been overwhelming. But I also want people to know that me and you are not against gay people. We're not here to say, "Whoa, we're now better than you, we're different than you." We're here to welcome you and let you know that we can be in a space where we don't have to be afraid anymore of being called Islamophobic, to stand up for our brothers and sisters. It's okay to stand up for people who are being wronged, and it's okay to be on the right if you want to be. It's okay to be on the left if you want to be. But it's about right now coming together as gays and together. And but I also too had the same experience coming out of the closet as a Republican with the right. I never thought I'd be sitting here saying, hey, like, I enjoy and I like having conversations with conservatives, but
yeah,
how crazy. But I mean, I do. I like it. It's fun.
I like it very much because I've been to a ton of quote liberal or left-leaning events. You know, all of the gay prides, all of the Out magazine and the premieres and the red carpet events, and I really don't. My mom, you can talk to my parents. I talk to them all the time about my experience, like the next day, and a lot of times I just don't have a good time. because you're going over there, and a lot of it is about status. A lot of it is about how many followers you have. A lot of it is about who you know, and blah, 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 about superficial things. And when you get in the room with a lot of conservatives, what I found is that they want to talk about ideas. So what are your thoughts on XYZ? What are your thoughts on Brunei? And what are your thoughts on the wall? And even if you have a different opinion, they go, oh, well, have you thought about it this way? Have you thought about, what XYZ? And it's like, we're talking about ideas. So I don't like to separate people and put us in categories and say, well, the left are like this and the right are like this. But this is just a common thing I've noticed when I go.
Well, with my experience as well, it's very similar to that, to where I came from the left, and I never was a fan of the right, because to be honest with you, I don't really know why I wasn't a fan. I just knew that was a bad side. That was the Christian-sided, Bible-thumping people who hated gay people. That's what I was told. That's what I thought. So I always was on the left, and I thought the left felt comfortable and that it was home. But it wasn't until I went and experienced what it was like to be on the right that I realized, wow, it was so much pressure to be on the left. When I was on the left, it was like, I gotta watch what I look like, watch what I say, watch who I'm talking to, or like, you know what I mean? And if you say the wrong thing, then they can all come after you. So nobody wants that. And I thought the right did that too, because that's what we were told. But then when I went to the right, it was just like you said, it was like a lot of exchanging ideas. And even when somebody says one thing that nobody else agrees with, nobody's trying to come for them. They're just like, well, that's different. Well, why do you think that way? They want to know why, and they want to ask, and they're always so curious. And I find that on the right, it's way more comfortable. Like, I thought it was comfortable on the left, but I got to the right and like kicked off my shoes, and like I'm like leaning back now. Like it's a vacation, and it feels so much less pressure, like a weight off my shoulders,
Yeah, and it's just the way we think. We don't think like they do, and that's okay. We just have different points of views. But I really am hoping that that the ones who are in the center, on the center left and left, the moderates can understand and be a little kinder to the people in their lives, kinder to their mother and their father who might be conservative, or their brothers and sisters, whoever. I would like to do what I can to mend the divide. For instance, like yesterday, I had a thing happen yesterday where somebody told me they no longer wanted to work with me because of my political leanings, and because I wore the MAGA hat in West Hollywood.
I had a dime.
If you had a dime, right? So he no longer wants to work with me, and it really hurt me. It hurt me. And he said that the MAGA hat was the same thing as a swastika. So they look at the MAGA hat, they look at Make America Great Again, and they see a swastika, and it blows my mind. And I said, I think that's really disrespectful to the Jews who lost their lives in the Holocaust, okay? And Hitler, who really did murder people en masse and was just a horrible, wicked person. To compare him to President Trump, who's doing all kinds of great things for African Americans.
Well, to bring it back full circle, that's actually how I feel about the gay community right now in America. The gay community, I feel like it's very disrespectful towards people like that are dealing with Brunei. Brunei. I feel like it's really disrespectful towards those boys who just lost their lives today. For instance, for us to sit here in America and claim that we have so much suppression and that we need to always fight against things, and oh no, like we're so suppressed.
I'm triggered by a MAGA hat.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And the gays of America need to realize that we are the freest, gayest country. And when a bill is passed, like for instance the one that just passed in Tennessee yesterday, when there's a bill passed saying that Christian adoption agencies don't have to give a child to a gay couple, that just is a freedom of religion and the freedom of choice to choose who you want to serve, not a anti-gay thing. Let's not forget that we have gay-only establishments, gay-only groups, gay-only events. We have a lot of those, and so Christian people are entitled to their religion, and they're entitled to their right as Americans as well to refuse service to whoever they want. And I don't think it's an anti-gay thing as much as it is a Christian thing. And I think that in America, we are so diverse that we need to respect each other. I'm not against gay-only establishments. I love them. I love going to the gay bar. I love being around my boys, and I love being like Kiki. I love it. But I love also the fact that Christians can have the same exact way of having their groups and their people. And I don't think they should be condemned for it as well. And
I had to fight real. Sorry to interrupt you. I had to fight real hard on that one in my head. I had to come to terms with all of that. There's the thing about that went down where people don't need to serve if they don't serve gays or serve people that it might be against their religion. I had to work hard on that because I was like, I don't like that, and I would type all the and I got mad, and I had one of my conservative friends call me up and say, look, Ricky, we can't force people to work with people if they don't want to, or do things that they don't want to, or is against their, you know, moral value.
That's my favorite part about being Americans. You can't force an American to do a goddamn thing.
I can't force this person who doesn't want to, you know, do my hair. Like, I can't force whatever. I can't force them to do that if it's something that is against their
I mean, I wouldn't really want to go to a doctor that doesn't really like gay people anyways. I wouldn't want to go somewhere where I knew that they were super Christian, they don't like gay people, because I'm pretty gay. So, I mean, I figured, like, if you wouldn't want to serve gay people, I probably wouldn't want to go to you either, so it works out. But at the same time, I find that a lot of times it is that way, to where I find that gays a lot of times are going in almost, in a sense, picking fights with Christians, to where they're going to these establishments on purpose to be like, I demand that you serve me. But I don't think that nobody should be demanding anything from anybody. And the beauty of being American, and my very favorite part about being American, is you can't force me to do a goddamn thing. And that's the beauty of being American. I could choose anything I want for my life, who's in my life, how I want my life to go. And that's beautiful. And it's not discrimination, because really, think about it. If it was happening on a discriminatory level, to where businesses were like, oh, you're gay, get out, and they weren't a Christian business, there would be so much headlines about that. There would be so many things in the news about that, and people would come for them. I think that if you have a Christian establishment, you are allowed, entitled to your religion. Now, if you work for the government, like in a government assistance place, like, or like somewhere that's for the public, like let's say an ER. If you work for an ER, that's the difference between an emergency room and a private practice doctor. A private practice doctor should be able to serve who he wants. A emergency room has to serve everybody. So if you work for the government in a place where you have to serve every single human being, then, like, if you work at Disneyland, girl, you're gonna have to serve everybody. You know what I mean? If you work, like, just be aware of your surroundings. Like, if you work at a grocery store in the middle of West Hollywood, you can't turn away a gay person. You know it's not gonna work that way. But if you have your own private practice, and you're an American who runs your own business, and you own your own company or your own small business even, you should be able to choose your own clientele. I'm a hairstylist. I'll tell you what, I would choose who sits in my chair. Like, if I don't want you in my chair, bitch, you ain't gonna sit in my chair. Like,
they can't force, people can't force you.
Right.
Know, it's like,
well, it's an American right.
You hate it. Like, let's say, like, you're super, like, whatever. You hate Satan or whatever. This guy comes in. Well, you should hate Satan, but anyway, comes in like full Satan gear and everything. Tells you to do something that you don't feel comfortable, like make a Satan cake or something, and or a pedophile cake. You're like, I don't feel comfortable. Or whatever it is. It could be anything.
I actually would take the advice of the guy from that cake store in Colorado. I would actually, he led a good example. And I think that's why he won his Supreme Court case. He was very nice and polite about it and said that he just feels uncomfortable with it, but they could buy any cake they want that's pre-made. He just felt uncomfortable doing it with his own hand. So that's what I would tell somebody. If they came into my business and demanded I serve them, knowing I'm uncomfortable, I would be polite about it. I would let them know I would stand my ground firmly as an American, because the right to refuse service is not an anti-gay thing. In fact, it has very little to do with even gay people. It's, the right to refuse service goes for anybody. If somebody's drunk in your business, if somebody's acting a fool in your business, being offensive in your business, you have so many different reasons of why you can refuse service to anybody. But the beauty of America is if you come here from another country, you build your own American dream, you run your own shit, and you wanted to refuse service to a human being because they're being disrespectful or what you consider to be not good in your eyes, you should have that right to refuse service to them. I think that's an American right, and it's a beautiful right, because let me remind you, gays do it all the time. When we had the Abbey, and I agree with the gays. I agree with the gays. When the gays at the Abbey said that we can't have bachelorette parties here until gays can get married, I agreed with them. And guess what? They would kick out women who came there to have their bachelorette celebrations. And I agreed with that because I think it's right. But after gays could get married, the Abbey never stopped. But am I against that? No, because that owner can choose who he wants to serve. And if he wants to kick somebody out of his establishment, so be it.
Okay, now I have a question. Now I have a question for you. What if you and I go to the Abbey and we're wearing our MAGA hat gear? I don't
know if we'll make that alive.
Well, are they allowed to kick us out for wearing a hat, the MAGA hat?
Yes.
Yes.
They are.
Yeah. And I think it's effed up. And And
I just like I think it's effed up that they can't celebrate their bachelorette parties now that we can get married too. That there's moralistic value here that we need to not forget as well, you know. And the fact that they still kick girls out with their bachelorette parties, or me and you out if we wear MAGA hats, it's unmoral, it's immoral, it's unjust, and I think it's really fucked up. But do they have that right? Yes, they do. But because they have that right, and if we see them exercise that right, those are the same people, though, that are coming for the Colorado cake store. Those are the same people demanding it's the same people demanding that Christian people serve them. So that's where the hypocrisy comes in, and that's the things I talk about. But I think a lot of times it gets clouded when I talk about them, and people think I just hate gays. But no, I'm sticking up for gays when I'm saying that that Christians should be able to refuse service to whoever they want, because that's also me instilling that the gays should be allowed to have gay bars. They should be allowed to have gay pride. They should be allowed to have gay groups in colleges and high schools. They should be allowed to do these things. And in turn, that means Christians in an equal country should be allowed to do that as well.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm for equality. And I thought that's what we all were fighting for, you know, like equality. But a lot of times math class, I know we all got a little confused there, but I think that equality is different than greater than less than, you know. I was really good at math.
You're good at math?
Yeah, it's horrible. I hate it.
Oh, you're bad at math.
No, I'm good at math, but I hate math.
Oh, okay.
I hated school. Like this homework was stupid. You had to do the same problem 35 times, but just with different numbers. I hated it. I got math really easily, and I've always been really good at math. So I was always in honors math and stuff, but I hated it. Like I was like, no. I hate math.
I hate math, and I'm bad at it. So
I hated it because it was boring. It was the same problem over and over again, just with different numbers. Like
yeah.
Anyways, but so I'm gonna go ahead and close out soon. But I want to ask you one last question. If you could give advice to the whole country right now on what you think that we all could do to maybe help each other or to ease any wrongdoings that are happening in Brunei, what would your advice be to America? Like, what can we do here at home?
Well, I think we should stop the infighting that's going on online, on Facebook and Twitter. I think we need to stop the infighting that's happening in our lives, our day-to-day lives. We should start treating like I said, otherwise, like we should start treating our brothers and sisters, our real brothers and sisters, with more kindness and respect, and our mothers and fathers if we disagree with them. And our friendships should develop more. We should try to develop our friendships with people and try to reach out to them and talk to them about, let's say that you know they disagree with you on something and you have questions. Well, reach out to them and try to have an open heart and an open mind. You know, I had a friend at a yoga class, and I told her about that story of that person that doesn't want to work with me anymore. And I was nervous that she was going to also be weird about it too. She's like, because I've been seeing what's going on with you online, and I've seen how vocal you're getting. And she had like a totally different take on it. She's like, you know, I'm just so proud of you for speaking your truth and coming out. And she's not a pro-Trumper. You know, she's a yoga teacher with, like, you know, she's a total liberal. But she's like, I appreciate what you're doing. And if it's something that is inside of you to do that, then I totally 100% support you. I
come across those occasionally as well. Those kind of there's a very small niche of those liberals out there that are really awesome people, and they're really good, and they talk about things like, they tell me the same thing. They say, I'm proud of you for speaking out for what you believe in, you know.
And that's a real liberal. I mean, that's a real liberal, because that's what they're about. Liberals are supposed to be for freedom of speech and supporting people in that. And I have met a lot of those people. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're conservative right now and you feel like you're trapped in the Trump closet, you're trapped in the conservative closet, I urge you to come out of the closet and speak out more. Come out and let your voice be heard, and not live so scared. Because a lot of people, especially in Hollywood, are super scared to come out and let their voices be heard. And so what happens is, the liberal side, the radical side of the liberals, think that it's okay to bully us because, you know, there's no consequences to that. But if people come out and they're like, hey, you know, I'm conservative. Oh, I'm conservative. Oh, this person's conservative. And then what happens is, with my case, what I wanted people to do, why I did what I did at the Grammys, is I wanted people to look at me and my character. You can look at my videos on YouTube. You can see how I speak to people. I'm pretty much a pretty gentle, kind spirit naturally. I don't really have like that that hatred that they're talking about, the xenophobic, racist, homophobic, anything like that. Like, I'm not any of those things. I'm just a person who, you know, who asks questions. I'm very curious type, like you spoke about.
That's why I used to love your music so much, and I still do. I love your music so much. Like when I was younger and I would go to Tiger Heat and watch you perform and stuff. I remember because I was promoting there for a while, and I remember seeing you backstage and stuff, and I was so intrigued by you because I loved your message of just fuck it, be a human, and just everybody is everybody. Like it's not about being bisexual or gay or straight. It's about just loving human beings, and like you were like, I love everybody. It just whatever, spread love. And I think that it's great because your message was always so anti. You know, you just were about love and togetherness, about everybody. It doesn't matter if you're black, handicapped, gay, woman, man, it doesn't matter. And you always promoted that message. And I do appreciate that. And I loved your music because of that. I still do. Your music is great because it's always been about that. That's why you coming out as a Trump supporter is such a big shock for a lot of people. Because it's, whoa, because you were so, you still are. You're still the same person. That's the thing about it. We haven't changed. And people think that after 2016, people changed. But really, if you had conservative friends that you hate now, or if you have liberal friends that you hate now, before 2016, they were still the same people. Why do we let these beliefs get in the way this deeply, for one? For two, thank you for sending out such a message of love, you know, for so many years.
Thank you. Thank you. And have you purchased my new record?
I haven't yet. Oh, yeah, I saw that picture. I was like, girl, love it.
And then, well, you can get this on my website. It's on rickyrebelrocks.com.
And I'll put the link down below too, guys, for you guys. Get it? Yeah, that booty. I will admit, in that one picture, in the front picture, I was looking.
Yeah, you were looking.
I want to look in that little corner section right there.
Yeah, there's like a little corner.
Yeah.
I had to work on that one because there was a little bit of a
slip.
A moment there.
A mid slip. Well, guys, I think it's called like a tip slip or something.
There was a tip slip.
Yeah.
So I had to like Photoshop it out. But that was a really exciting shoot for me. It was the first time I did a nude shoot in my life. And
it looks good.
My manager, he was so angry with me for doing this. My manager at the time, he dropped me. But I think he dropped me for multiple, you know, we parted ways amicably. But we parted ways just because of who I was becoming as an artist. Like, he didn't like the new version of me. Because, like, every record, it's kind of like I take a page out of Madonna's book and David Bowie. I become, like, a new vision of myself. And the first record I made was called The Blue Album. And I had a certain vibe and a certain, it was more, like, I don't know, pop. And now this is getting more into more indie / you know, Americana and pro-America, pro-alpha, pro-male, you know, everything. You know, he's the alpha. The new alpha, I believe, is a balanced human being. It's someone who is able to balance the yin and the yang energy within them. That the male and the female, the woman, the man, the being able to put it all together. Because if we're overly passive people, we get run over. That's when you have open borders, and then like everybody's allowed to come in and fuck your country up. Yeah, that's being too quote passive. You know, you just open up. But you know, if you're too rigid and you lock everything away and you block everything, you block your friends, your family, you're too isolated. That's not good either. You're too protectionist.
Right. And I think that's what's happening in this country. We're so divided on those two aspects. We need to find that alpha. We need to find that middle ground where we can balance both, and we can still hang out with liberals and still be conservative, and vice versa on both sides, and have still a strong border without having to lock it all down, you know? But at the same time, we need a stronger border. Like, plays on the aspects of everything we're talking about, especially BRUNEI, to be honest. I think that we shouldn't have to be in such in fear of Islamophobia to where we have to go fully one direction. I think it's okay to say, we're not Islamophobic, we don't hate Muslims, but we're going to address the fact that Islam hates gay people in most Islam-ran countries. And we could talk about this without having to feel like one extreme or the other. So I think that actually is really awesome for you to say, because we can all at home watching this now can use that for our own lives every day. You should always try to find a happy medium and not think that the world's just either black or white. And if it is black and white, honey, make it gray, because gray can look cute on anybody, you know?
Yeah.
So It's about bringing both worlds together, and I think that we need to bring that balance together, because if we do that, that's the only time we're going to be able to come together to fix problems like BRUNEI, or be here for each other during problems like BRUNEI. So I think that coming together is going to be ultimately key. And you're right, it starts with your family. It starts at home, and it starts with all the people that you love so much that you have isolated out of your life because of the fact that we all simply think differently. I think it's gospel. Preach. Can I get a gay amen? Gay men.
Gay men.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on today, and I definitely enjoyed having you. You guys can find his album at...
You can find my album anywhere digital music is sold, which is iTunes, Amazon. You can find it on Spotify. All my records are on there. And if you want to get a CD, it's available on my website at rickyrebelrocks.com, and I will gladly sign it for you, the new Alpha CD.
Yes. So you guys should order the album and get a signed album. I know there's a couple of fans on Twitter who have been tagging me and you like crazy. And yeah, there's a couple of people I've been seeing been tagging me and you like crazy. So I know they'll probably be buying one. So that's awesome. But thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. But thank you so much for coming on today. It really means a lot to me to get another perspective, so people know that we're not here to hate. We're here to show love.
We're here to show love, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm proud of your passion, and keep it up.
Thank you. All right, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.